Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring the SLA Industries 2nd edition core rulebook. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this splatterpunk noir sci-fi role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the Thresher Consortium. I was also going to talk about tech tracks, but I will feature that in the next video. When it comes to the Thresher Consortium, they have been an omnipresent threat to SLA Industries for over 650 years. Originating in 232 SD, when the 127th Technical Support Group, or TSG, whilst returning from the War Worlds, chanced upon the water-rich planet named Thalas. On the surface of the planet, a reconnaissance squad discovered a massive cave entrance, mantled by a gargantuan jawbone with triangular teeth. On further investigation, an expansive abandoned industrial complex was uncovered within. The 127th landed on the planet en masse, and further investigation discovered a gold mine of hardware and technology locked within the complex's factories and vaults. 5 hours after an ultimatum from the 127th commanding officer, 720 of the 750 personnel had agreed to stay on Thalas. All went well at first. However, Adam had neglected his transport ships, and of the 15 in his possession, only 4 were operational. People became uneasy as they realized that they may never see their loved ones again. Discontent moved to public outcry and the threat of revolt. 300 individuals petitioned Adam, their pleas falling on deaf ears. Adam became fearful of rebellion. On the eve of the first year of Thresher, Adam called a meeting of his most trusted inner circle, and before dawn, 50 technicians had been executed for subversion. The shockwave and fear was petrifying, and for 3 days not one technician left their home. The police were militarized with weapons from the stockpiles and were armored with huge power suits. The revolt came, as over 400 technicians marched from their homestead, Trent, towards the complex. They were given an ultimatum: go back to work and live as rich men, or die where you stand. They charged. The cannons opened up, and when the dust had settled, 92 were dead, or dying. 3 weeks later, they returned to work, no longer partners in the Thresher endeavor, instead slaves to it. The transport ships were repaired and Adam became a hermit, only occasionally seen stomping around the complex encased in his own personal power suit. 2.5 months after the technicians returned to work, the Cannon Colors, an artillery detachment of Dark Knight, arrived on Thalas. The Thresher were given 1 hour to surrender the Blue Dawn facility to Dark Knight. Adam was in a blind panic, but after some cajoling, he was convinced to parley under the flag of truce. He, 4 of his seniors, and the commander of the Cannon Colors, Rebecca Ann Porter, spoke for 3 hours. A short time after, it was announced that the Cannon Colors were to join forces with the Thresher. The opportunity was taken to rebrand the company to Thresher. The Cannon Colors were equipped in Thresher power suits and became known as the Shark's Teeth Strike Force, while the original Thresher team would continue to manufacture, research, and develop the company's products. And for the first time in its inception, Adam and the organization were the benefiters of an unbelievable stroke of luck. Kevin Tabbs, 4th-class computer technician, found a data slug stuck behind a filing cabinet. On it was a star chart which pinpointed over 400 more complexes identical to Blue Dawn. All but 7 were operational. The return of the Shark's Teeth and news of the abscondment of the 3 technicians induced the evacuation of Blue Dawn. The SLA Industries fault ship Retribution found the vacant and stripped complex and destroyed it. For 5 years, no one heard of Thresher, and they were all but forgotten. However, they had escaped. A few days before the end of 239 SD, on Dante, a Dark Knight power suit was reported dropped behind SLA Industries' main line. 4 squads of SLA heavy armor were dispatched to investigate. They reported massive power suits before communications ceased. In total, 4 more attacks of this nature occurred, and 120 doggy bones, countless troopers and scores of APC transports and linemate tanks were destroyed. Subsequent intel confirms that Thresher Incorporated were not in league with Dark Knight as initially thought. In fact, Dark Knight suffered significant losses on Dante at the same time as SLA Industries. By 245 SD, Thresher Incorporated had stripped 48 production plants of their alien technology and had swelled its personnel significantly. Adam's stranglehold at the top was slipping. His management style was only viable below a certain level of people and distance. As it turned out, a coup never had the chance to occur. Instead, a ghost from the past ended Adam's command and his life. Linda Spears, from the Shark's Teeth Maiden raiding mission. She had spent the subsequent years working up the ladder in Cloak Division. After convincing them she was Thresher's prisoner and a worthwhile asset to SLA, and had been granted the mission to assassinate Adam if he were still alive. She was dropped on a planet known to be a Thresher Incorporated recruiting ground, and was quickly picked up by the Shark's Teeth. Linda spent 2 years within the organization, but far from Adam. Eventually, her chance came. She hacked his personal diary and discovered he was to attend her processing facility the same week. She forged an ID and waited. A column of power suits arrived. Adam's personal bodyguard, and in the middle, in the largest and most ostentatious suit, was the man. Linda ranked up with the other technicians and prepared herself to die. Eventually, Adam came to her position. Spears located the chippy port at the waist of his suit, rushed him and plugged her slug in. The pandemonium that ensued allowed her to escape. Adam's suit shut down and he suffocated to death within 2 hours. For the second time in its short history, Thresher Incorporated went quiet. It recalled its forces to their homeworlds, this time for 7 years. Since Thresher's return, little has changed. The Thresher Corporation organized into small high-tech and hypermobile strike teams. These pods producing a devastating level of firepower that could hit extremely hard. Instantly recognizable in their gray-blue armor and iconic helmets, which resemble the aquatic predators after which the company is named, the Thresher suits induce a deep-seated dread and fear of predation in anyone that sees them. Though rare, Thresher do show up both inside and outside of Mort City. Due to the significant threat that this enemy poses, VPNs to deal with Thresher directly are issued only to higher SCL operative squads. In the last few months, Thresher seems to have changed its tactics and rebranded yet again to the Thresher Consortium. And it is believed that Thresher has joined forces with an old alien enemy of SLA Industries. In this section of the book, you also have information on the tactics used by Thresher, as well as their operatives and gear, such as the Thresher Pilot, the Endeavor-powered infantry armor, the Sarge battle armor, the Shear 0023/B1 assault rifle, and the VAF 30600/C12 assault cannon. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about tech treks. I think that Thresher has a pretty deep background, and you could use Thresher as the focus or vortex for an entire campaign. However, because this is a major independent threat, I recommend that you introduce them halfway through the campaign, because if you use them at the very start, they could be just too powerful or too resourceful for starting characters. They could also be a threat for several campaigns, because they do have a history of disappearing or apparently dying, and then coming out of nowhere all of a sudden. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending right through RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.